You are now listening to Mondays with Mike Martinez.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mondays with Mike. I'm super excited to be here. As you can see, we're coming to you live from the inside of a ring. And by the way, it's my first time inside of a ring. I'm here with Franklin, the business owner of AFS. This is the #1 fighting training facility in the Inland Empire, coming to you from Fontana. Franklin, how you doing, my friend?
Doing great. Good to have you here.
Hey, thanks, man. It's an honor. Thanks for taking the time on a busy Saturday to have this podcast interview with me. And I'm excited to talk about your business and what has been your journey. Let's start off by talking a little bit about yourself. Where were you born? Where did you grow up? And how was life for you growing up as a kid?
Okay, I was born in Costa Rica, in a little town in the south side of the country, and have 10 siblings. Really tough, actually, because my dad used to work he was working for a company in agriculture. That's it, and he had 10 kids. Then I learned really young responsibilities. I had to work to help my dad since I was a kid. Then it was a little bit tough, I sometimes I talk to the guys and I say, like, for Christmas, sometimes the kids have 10, 20 gifts from different people. I don't remember that kind of stuff, it was like, for my dad to have something like that for 10 kids, it was really rough. And then it was a little bit tough, but we survived. He was really a good provider.
I'm curious, and I never really asked this question too much, but what did your dad do over there in Costa Rica? I'm just curious.
The thing is, in Costa Rica, it's not a specific thing for a person to work as an employee in a farm. Then he used to work from being a cowboy to grow vegetables, to do everything
and anything that he could find work. Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
And I completely understand that. Being from a Mexican culture and having, Mexican descent, I've seen it in Mexico, kind of the same thing where there's really not a trade. My parents really didn't do any one thing. They did anything that they could to just put food on the table. So I completely get that. And how many years, until what age did you live in Costa Rica? When did you come to the U.S.?
23. I was 23 when I came to the United States. I used to work, I graduated as a mechanic. I was working in a dealership.
Here?
No, in Costa Rica.
Oh, okay.
I was, and I was a mechanic for a few years, 4 or 5 years, and I moved to the United States because you hear so much about that. Everybody came here just to make money. People came here like, this is everybody have a dream. And
the American dream.
The American dream. And I was talking yesterday with some of the guys that I came here to make money, and it had been actually really good for a kid that came from Costa Rica here, but
before we get into the meat and potatoes that I know everybody wants to hear the story about how you got into the fighting industry and how you started your business as the top training facility in the area. This is again, I'm curious, and I know everybody wants to know, are you living the American dream, Franklin? Oh. Did you find the American dream?
I think so, because oh shoot, we gotta go there. Okay, let's go there. I came from a really poor family in Costa Rica, and I came here, and I was telling them yesterday, actually, I came here to make money, and I became a Christian when I came to this country, and that was the first amazing thing that happens to me in life. And then everything changed from there. I believe that's the main reason why you and I are sitting here. And after that, I think God opened my eyes, and I think I am living the American dream. And I can tell you why I believe that we are doing that in my family.
Good.
But I think
so that's why they say God bless America.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we're in one of the most fortunate and blessed countries
Mm-hmm.
in the world, if not the most fortunate and blessed countries in the world. That's our opinion as proud Americans.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that you were able to come from Costa Rica. I'm glad that you were able to find success here in the States, and that you feel like you are living the American dream. And I also have a feeling that you're just getting started. I have a feeling
I think so.
You know,
yes.
Based off of our conversation before we started the interview, I think that you're just warming up. So I'm happy for you. Now, I'm sure everybody wants to know, did you start getting into fighting here in the U.S., in Costa Rica? Like, what happened? How did you get into fighting?
I'm a soccer player. You know, I used to play soccer in Costa Rica, and I was actually really, really decent playing soccer, but I always loved fighting. And I remember when I was 12, I already had my own job to help my dad and everything. And I came home and I told my dad, I think I want to sign up in an academy, a Taekwondo academy. I was 12, and he said, why? I say, I don't know, I like to fight. He said, okay, I know you're going to pay for your membership, but you are not coming here later on and say, it's too hard, I can't do that. You're not going to quit. Make sure that before you sign up, you think about that.
Commitment.
That you can know, I don't want a quitter in my house. And then I took it too hard, you know, and then I signed up, and I started doing Taekwondo in Costa Rica, and here we are. Never stop. Never disappoint my dad with that.
How did it look like when you got to the States, and how did you get into fighting here?
Okay.
How old were you?
I was 23 when I got here, and I became a friend with this guy. And he used to tell me, I see you doing this Taekwondo stuff. You're really good. I can teach you how to fight. And he was a big dude, 300 and some pounds. I say, come on, dude. A fatty like you're not going to beat me up. And then he said, no, seriously, I want to teach you how to fight. For about a year, he was instigating me with that. And one day he came to my apartment, and I moved the furniture. And I said, okay, let's do it. Let's see. Dude, I punched him, kicked him. He took me down and choked me out. And I am like, what the hell just happened here? And there's a whole bunch of friends there. And I feel like so embarrassed. And then I say, let's do it again. He choked me like 10 times. Then I told him, I say, dude, maybe because you are so big. Then I say, and the weekend after, I went to his house, and there's this kid, 20 pounds lighter than me, and he said, hey, try with him. He did the same. Then I said, I got to learn this. And that's how I started. That guy was my coach for about 10 years. And you probably hear this name, Jean Judo LaBelle. Did you ever hear about Jean LaBelle? He was a 5th-degree black belt under Jean LaBelle. And dude, I became a black belt in a few different martial arts thanks to.
So you started here in the U.S. You actually started learning mixed martial arts. Mm-hmm. Like you started mastering it. It sounds like, right?
Yes, because before the UFC came up, you used to learn boxing in one place, kickboxing in another one, wrestling in another, and since then now you can come to this gym and you can learn kickboxing, boxing, jiu-jitsu, MMA, anything you want, and in the same roof, under the same roof. Yeah.
Did you do any amateur or professional fighting in your 20s or 30s when you started learning all the mixed martial arts?
Yes, everything was like a little bit underground. I don't know if you remember that. Like, we used to go on a warehouse, and there was you and you and you and you, and that's how we used to do it before. You know, you fight 2 times a night, one night for $250.
It wasn't, well, back in those days, and what are we talking about here, like 20 years ago?
Maybe a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah,
let's say
in the
25.
90s, in the late 90s. Yes.
Okay, in the late 90s. So there was no quote unquote professional MMA or professional UFC at that time?
It was no commission involved in mixed martial arts. It was just in boxing. When like CSAC, California State Athletic Commission, and some other ones got involved, it was later on.
So when you used to have these fights, it was not regulated, it was not organized, it was just fighters that knew that they were good fighters fighting other fighters?
Everything was legal. Headbutting, pulling hair, growing shots, all that stuff was legal. Not like now. Now it's very regulated, very safe.
Exactly.
Oh no, it was brutal. It was brutal.
How long did you do that?
For a little bit, a few years. And competition too, like grappling tournaments where now they regulate a lot of like, there is tournament where they don't do leg locks. Most of the tournament, you are not a black belt or a brown belt. We used to do it, and I did a Sambo tournament in '99, I think, where there were so many people with freaking broken legs because they were like.
How old were you in these years?
My early 30s when I was doing that. Yeah.
So, is it safe to say that you're an old school MMA fighter?
Everybody thinks that. Yeah. When I talk to people, and I'm well known in this area in California. A lot of people know me because I am not just a coach. I am a referee and a judge in mixed martial arts. I ref events and I do all the good stuff. Then they know me very well, and they always tell me you're an old school. You're one, you know. But it's interesting because I have been blessed. I train with a lot of people that you probably know, famous people, and help them getting ready for fights. And
that's awesome, dude. I love that. So, at what age did you start having an entrepreneur spirit, where you had a burning desire to start your own business, to build out your own training facility, to train, other people, the beautiful art of fighting?
I was teaching in the high desert in an academy there, and then a guy that was running a program in American Sport University in San Bernardino invited me to be the head coach of that program. And I was there, and it's a little bit crazy because sometimes, and that's where I am very careful, sometimes the coaches, the owners of the gyms, they don't think about the coaches. I was running the program, and the university was making a good money and everything, and I was just there. And all the kids in the program used to say, hey, why don't you open your own thing? And they start pushing me to do that, and I decided to do it. And it was the best decision that I made.
So something that comes to mind is, I want to pause to address something. We were talking a little bit offline before we started recording about business and scaling and things like that. And that falls into the leadership portion of running a business, right? So it sounds to me like, and not to talk bad about any business that you were a part of or anything like that. It's just, as an expert at building a business and scaling businesses and things like that, as a business coach, I identify something right now that everybody needs to be aware of that's watching the show right now. Is it's a leadership issue, right? So you felt underappreciated. You felt that they weren't recognizing your contribution and your efforts, and so much so that everybody else, even customers of theirs, recognized it, and they started encouraging you to start your own business. And then you're like, yeah, the leadership here is not good. I can do a better job. And that's a lot of times that's what happens when people leave companies to go start their own business. It's for that reason, because it's the lack of leadership and the lack of their ability to grow. John Maxwell is the #1 best-selling author of nonfiction books in the whole world. He teaches leadership. John Maxwell. That is the law of the lid, and it's the law of belief, right? So if people don't believe that they can grow big enough and they can build a business big enough for you to grow within their business, then what's going to happen? It's a lid. This is what happened, Franklin, in my opinion. That company put a lid on you and you're a rock star. So you kept growing and growing, and everybody even around you noticed that you kept growing where you hit the lid. You hit the lid, and now it's John Maxwell's law of the lid. And he's the number one, coach when it comes to leadership. John Maxwell is the greatest leadership trainer in the world. So it talks about the law of the lid. So that's what happened. You hit your lid, so you had a breakthrough by starting your own company. So that's what happened.
Yes, and I started looking for a location. And it's crazy because I was here like 5 years previous to that, just looking to see how much they charge, and it was a lot of money, and then I said, I can't do it. And I come back, and it was actually less than what they told me 5 years earlier. And I say, I think this is the chance for me to open an academy.
It was less. The rent went down. Less, yes. Oh my God.
Because you remember in 2008,
oh yeah,
it was really bad.
Yep.
And I opened this place around at the end of 2009. It was the economy was really bad.
In real estate. Yeah.
And that's what, and I started here in 2009 at the end. And came here with a couple of people,
So I want to talk about that for a second. How scary was it starting your own business, building out your own training facility? How challenging was it, right? So how scary was it and how challenging was it? What were the biggest things that you had to overcome in your experience when you went through that?
The craziest thing, I was working in telecom. I was one of the first people that started working in installing equipment for cell phones.
Okay.
When the cell phone technology came out, I was one of the technicians doing that, making good money. Now, I go home and I told my wife, I want to open my own academy. And she say, huh? And then I say, yeah, I feel like it's the right time for me. And she support me. She say, okay, then we are going to struggle a little bit because you're going from making, like $8,000 a month to who knows how much. And I opened this place with 13 people. 13, and they don't even cover the rent. But I have a little bit savings from my job and everything, and then I say, I'm going for it. But everybody was telling me, hey, don't do it. Because I don't know what percentage of academies close in the first 6 months. Say, I don't want you to be one of those, hey, coach, don't do it. And everybody was, I don't remember one person other than my wife then say, hey, go for it. You're going to make it. And I did. And the first 6 months, it was rough. I'm telling you, I was concerned for a little bit, but I say, I can never quit. I got to keep doing it.
Were you already a man of faith during these years? Did you already walk?
Yes.
With God?
Those are the things that I believe keep me going and going because sometimes you got to walk through the valley of the shadow of death.
Yes.
To know that you're not alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. So a lot of people are not going to understand what you went through. I am one of them that do, because I started my first business in 2012. I was making about $10,000 a month as a collector, working at a collection agency when I decided to start my own collection agency. So the experience that you had, mine was probably pretty similar, almost identical, I would say. So I was making $10,000 a month. I had a Lexus payment, a Suburban payment, I had a nice little condo, and I'm making $120,000 a year. And I go to my wife and I say, hey, I'm going to start my own collection agency with a partner. And she's like, are you sure that's a good idea? She's like, she was scared. I was scared. Yeah. It's one of the scariest things that I've ever experienced in my whole life. Probably the scariest. Is starting your own business, right? Knowing that you have your family to provide for, So I understand you, Franklin. I understand you 100%. I want people that are up against the fence right now, thinking about starting a business. I want to prepare them for this, because there's a lot of people that follow the show that work for somebody that want to start their own business. I encourage you guys to do it, but I want you guys to know that it's going to be scary as fuck.
Not gonna be easy. Oh shoot, seriously. I tell people that, like, oh, the first 5-7 years, my goodness, I was like contemplating, like, well, everybody was telling me you're not gonna make it, but I say I can't. I gotta keep pushing. And
Brandon Dawson, my greatest mentor, he's Grant Cardone's business partner. He's the one that's really taught me a lot in the last few years. He calls this negative influence of other people, right? NIOP, negative influence of other people. We need to be careful with that, because negative influence of other people can literally kill your dream. And we already know, because I asked you earlier if you're living the American dream. I asked you that earlier. If you ask me that, I'm gonna say, fuck yeah, I am. Because I did not let the negative influence of other people affect me. And a lot of people probably go through that. They let other people make the decisions for them when they should not allow that negative influence of other people to decide what their dream is, right? And also 2 more things that we have to have when we're walking through this experience. We have to have faith in our ability, in our Creator. We have to have massive faith that He has our back. And the next thing we have to have is confidence, right?
oh yes, oh yes. And surround yourself with people, then it's positive. Because that's one of the main things for me. Like, I trust everybody that's around me. I seriously, I try to be very positive with them, and I want the same back to me.
I'm exactly the same way. That is a great virtue of a good leader, of a great leader. And it's a double-edged sword.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because we're like that. People know, they feel the authenticity, and they tend to, a lot of them tend to be loyal to you, right? But it also opens you up to people taking advantage.
It happens to me.
Yeah, it happens to me too. My wife is the opposite. My wife is skeptical of everyone. So we make a very good...
Dude, are you sure your wife knows my wife's sister?
Well, so that's why God chose them. That's why God chose them for us, though, because we're like an open book. You can ask me anything, and I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah.
You're like, how much did you make last year? I'll tell you. What was your net? I'll tell you. Like, whatever you want to know, I'm a freaking open book. And my wife is the opposite. She's like, be careful what you tell people, because they're going to use it against you. They're going to take advantage. So it complements each other. We're the exact opposite in that sense, right? But it's required. You have to have somebody that backs you up. That's like, hey, be careful. Hey, you're paying this guy too much. Hey, you're doing this. You're being way too generous right here in this situation. Because I already know you're like that too. You're very. I know we have the same personalities. I know we do. So, dude, let's talk about some of the struggles though. Like, what were some of the struggles that you had when you started your business? I know, I can imagine that this is a really tough business to start. I know you already had people that knew who you were. You already had credibility in the industry. You probably already had some sort of following that helped you when you started your gym. But you shared with me before we started recording how many members you started out with and how many employees you started out with. What were some of those challenges? Let's share it.
Okay, the biggest one was how to make somebody or convince somebody that you were good in what you do in your business. Because I never forget one guy walking here and he said, hey coach, why should I sign up here if there is another 20 gyms in the Inland Empire? He said, you have an agreement, you got a contract. Why should I lock myself in a contract? He said, and I know what you're gonna say, oh, because we are good, he said, everybody say that. But why should I do it? And I remember that, and I started thinking about the previous gyms that I used to train in, and it was about money. Everything was about money, but without being concerned about that person that was coming in.
Thank you. The service.
And then I say, I need money to have this machine running, but I said the difference is that we care about you. We care, and we are not gonna do this just to teach you martial arts. We are gonna do this to help you be a better person. And going back to being a Christian, everybody, if you come here any day of the week, there is somebody in the front desk talking with us about some struggle that they have. And I believe that is one of the reasons why we are successful in this business, because everybody walking here and they feel part of the family. Everybody feel, and we have great martial arts too. I have been doing this for 46 years. And I know that I know what I'm teaching people. And when people come here, they walk out thinking, wow, that was great. I know that because I never have a negative comment when somebody walks in this place. And then that was one of the struggles, trying to figure out how I tell somebody this is the right place for you. And starting with 13 people only was really hard, how to grow little by little. But the first month, by the end of the month, I have like 37 students. And at least I was paying rent and paying the coaches. And but the struggle was not just 1 year or 2 years. It was like 5, 6 years. So I got to suck it up, okay?
So the biggest struggle is the same that I tell everybody. It's making your first $1 million. How are you going to make your first $1 million in a business? That's the magic question that everybody wants answered. And the magic answer, the magic bullet is marketing and sales. That's how you make your first $1 million in business. And that's what you struggled with, it sounds like, because once people found you, then you had to convince them, right? That's the sales side. And 10X is the greatest sales training platform that I've been trained on and that I know about. I've read all the sales books in the world. You know, I've done a lot of sales training, and you hit the nail on the head. It's about, what does a customer need? What's their pain? Do you actually care about delivering them the service and the solution that they have to their problem, which is learning, maybe making themselves a better person, maybe learning how to be disciplined that everybody freaking struggles with?
Oh, yes.
It's all that, right? But the most important one to me is confidence in what you're doing. And what I would tell anybody that has an issue with sales is to always let your customers know. Deliver this magic message to your customer, okay? Why should you go with us and not the other 20 businesses that are competing with us? Because I'm not in the other 20 businesses. You don't get me over there. You only get me here. So you get me. When you sign up here, you get me. You get me. And I don't work over there. I work here.
It's so interesting that you say that, because I have a friend. He's kind of famous. His name is Chris Lieben. He fought for UFC many years. He was in the Ultimate Fighter Season 2. And he was telling me that he was going to open a gym in San Diego. And I was telling him, I say, hey, make sure that if you put your name behind those walls, you're there. Because people are going to come here for you.
Yes.
And believe it or not, I try to be here as much as I can, because a lot of times people call me, are you going to be at the gym? And I have great coaches and everything, but this is
a relationship.
Exactly. Then they want to make sure that if they sign up to train with you, you are here. They sign up to do anything with, if you put your name behind your business, you better be there, because if I ain't gonna look for Mike and I go and get John, this is not good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the success that we've had in our business is, I have two different factors in our debt collection agency. The first one is our clients. The clients is the relationship and the service and the quality that we're delivering to them, the results that they want, right? They want their money collected, so they know that Mike Martinez's company is going to deliver those results. They're not dealing with me every day. They're dealing with my executives. They're dealing with my team. They're dealing with my vice president. They're dealing with my director of admin. They're dealing with my collection managers. They're dealing with my team. But they know that at the end of the day, if there's an issue or if they're not delivering results, they know that they're going to call Mike Martinez and I'm going to handle that, right? The next part is my employees. My employees, they don't deal with me on a day-to-day basis. They deal with my executives and they deal with their managers. But they know that push comes to shove, if the business is not doing good or if they have an issue, they come to Mike Martinez, the CEO, and I will handle that problem for them. So it's, you again, right? You can do business with the competition, but I don't work there. I work here. So if you want Mike Martinez, you got to do business with my company and with my team, because this is where I am. I'm running the show here, right? So it's sending that message to the customer with confidence, because you know what you can deliver. You know the results that you can give them. So it's just having the conviction that you believe it, right? It's having the conviction and delivering that message. So I want everybody to understand that when they're starting a business, having the confidence to deliver those results. Now, if you're not planning on delivering results, if you're not confident in your ability to deliver what you're selling, don't even open a business, because you're going to fail.
100%, 100%. And as when especially in martial arts, you have some clients, then they are like sometimes looking to see you are the person they are looking for. They want to see you know what everybody say you know, that kind of stuff. And then that help us a lot too, because so far the expectation that people have about us are fulfilled, you know, and it's good, because I have some clients that are like phenomenal. Like, I
mean, you went from 13 clients, 13 members, students, to right now, 15 years later. Yeah. Share that number that you shared with me earlier. How many you have now?
I think it's in between 400 and 450 students here in this place.
That's incredible. Now, it took 15 years, though. That's another thing, too, that people need to realize. It takes time. It takes patience. What's the crazy saying that you hear all the time? Rome wasn't built overnight.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of something also to take away. You know, people see my success too. I did 21 million last year, and people are like, damn, you know. But I just started showing up on social media a couple years ago, so they think that I'm an overnight success. I've been having a business for 12 years. It did not happen overnight, and I've went through all the challenges that any business owner can go through, and I overcame them. So what is next for you? Like, I know you've had massive success, and I know that you're still looking at scaling. You're still looking at growing. You're looking at growing your team. You have about 10 coaches right now with you, and 10 employees, including yourself. So, you know, how are you going to get to 20? How are you going to get to 30? How are you going to double and triple your revenue in the next few years? What's your plan?
Okay. Part of the plan is this. We just have a partnership with, right here where we are working right in front of this building, with a stem cell institute. Raquel is amazing. She's working with, right now she's gonna have a meeting with Donald Trump Jr. Next week about this thing about the health, and she is like a pioneer. She's an ex-military, and she's like a visionary. This lady is, we gotta talk to her one of these days. She's amazing in that area. And now with having the Sport Institute, with the sport that we have here, it's gonna be just great, because it's gonna be good for her and for us in so many ways. It's one of the ways that I wanna grow that. And the other one is trying to franchise. You know, that is the whole idea from right now. We are working something with a couple of people, one in Arizona, one in up north, to see if we can branch out a little bit.
So, you know, we talked about this a little bit before we started recording. Is, in my opinion, the vision is there. You're good. you have all the right connections, you have the products, you have the services, you have everything that you need to really take the businesses to the next level. In my opinion, it's going to be this year really focusing on, you know, the main pillars is the marketing side. You guys got to really go hard on social media, because social media right now is where it's at. You have the connections. So when she meets with Donald Trump Jr., who's the biggest name in the country right now, right? You have all these connections with professional UFC fighters and whatnot. She has the connections. If you're able to document this and put it out to the world on social media platforms, and then you get your team dialed in on the sales side, delivering the message, doing business with us, you're doing business with Franklin, right? Delivering that message. We're here to provide you with the best service and the best training because of the face of the company is Franklin. So we stand behind the name, behind the brand. And then the leadership side, you know, being able to duplicate yourself and being able to get all the trainers duplicated to all be Franklins, right? And then you get the operation side dialed in, and then you learn the strong financial side of it at scale. When you're growing, you're going to be dangerous, my friend. You're going to be dangerous.
Oh, I hope so. That sounds so good. You got to say that a little bit more.
Yeah, of course.
Couple more times.
So
that was amazing.
So my son Michael Jr., he's 16 now. He did boxing for about 1.5 years. He was training in Upland, and he's been trying to get back into it. And I was so inspired when I walked in here. I did kickboxing for a couple of weeks. I gave up on it too easy. So I'm looking to get back into it myself. And we talked about possibly getting my family in here for some special trainings. I want to talk about that really quick, and maybe even offering it to my employees. I have about 40, 50 employees at my headquarters. I want to see if maybe we do like corporate trainings for whoever wants to participate. It's not going to be mandatory, but whoever wants to participate in some trainings, I think it's good culture building. Can you talk about your experience with training law enforcement and what you do for them?
Oh, it's amazing because Captain Burton, Jim Burton, I know him since 2000. He came to our gym to start training, and we became friends, like really good friends. At the time, he was an LAPD, and we started training a lot together. Then he became a captain in Fontana, and for about, I would say 7, 8 years, I was like, dude, I want to train the cops. I want to help. And he said, no, coach, it's liability. The city is not going to go for that. It's too. And every time that we have a conversation, I was telling him the same. Until probably 3 years ago, one day he called me and he said, I think it's time. He said, the cops are getting hurt. People, you got to think about this. Like, everybody watch UFC. And everybody know what an armbar is. Everybody. He said, sometimes the cops are going to arrest somebody and they just roll for an armbar. He said, and people is getting very educated in that stuff. And the cops are getting hurt.
Everybody's a freaking MMA fighter nowadays. I don't even want to start a fight anymore. 10, 15 years ago, I would be easy to throw a punch at somebody. Now it's like everybody's a professional boxer. Everybody's a professional MMA fighter. Like it's scary now. And so I understand.
This is the craziest thing. He said, what if we do a tryout with the police? And we did it, and it was so good for them. Then he said, we got to put a program with this. And it's the program that we have right now. The city is paying for them to come here. The cops don't have to pay to come here. The city is the one that is behind them, and we train cops every day here.
What's the name of the program again?
It's survival tactics.
Survival tactics.
Yes. We teach everything from how to grab somebody, put the person on the ground, handcuff the person without throwing a punch sometimes. Because unfortunately for the police now, they are so limited. For many reasons, many things that we saw on TV. They are not allowed to choke somebody out. They are not allowed to do a lot of stuff than they used to. And then we got to find ways to do the job without getting hurt. And for the last 3 years, we have been doing that. And it's so good. It's working so good with the police. Then now we start about, I would say a year ago, doing it with the SWAT too. We have the SWAT here once a week, once a month, training with us, the same thing. And they say, this is so amazing because it works so perfect. If you follow what we are learning right here, we don't get hurt. We can go back home at the end of the night, and it's amazing.
Franklin, I love this, and this is the type of stuff that you need to be promoting. So my team, I know my team's watching right now. I need you guys to promote this on my social media platforms because this is absolutely, it's just so exciting to me, learning about this and what he does for law enforcement to be able to defend themselves where they're limited on what they can do to defend themselves. That's insane. I want to learn, Franklin, if you can teach this to me and my family and my employees, but I want to be able to throw punches back because I'm not law enforcement. So teach me the defense side, but teach me also the offense side because I'm not law enforcement. I'm going to swing back, you know? But this is the type of stuff that you need to be promoting in your business because I'll tell you right now, the fact that you train law enforcement just makes me want to do business with you. It makes me want to bring my family and bring my team to learn from you. If you're good enough for law enforcement and you're good enough for the people that we trust to defend us and protect us every single day, Fontana PD and local law enforcement, if they trust you, everybody else should trust you. Am I right?
That's great. That's good. Good to hear from you because that's what I always tell people. Like,
should be promoting that.
I always tell people, we have here cops, then every time that they're walking out, they thank me 10 times before they walk out. They say, you have no idea you're changing the culture of the law enforcement. You say, we believe that we had the best law enforcement in California. Because and everybody should be thanking you. Everybody in the community, not just law enforcement, the people that they're protecting should be thanking you because you're equipping them with the knowledge and the training that they need to be able to defend themselves and in turn defend everybody else. When somebody breaks into our house or when we get robbed or any time that there's unfortunately a crime committed, who do we call? We're not calling the local gangsters. We're calling the cops. Thank you.
You know what I mean? And you're the one training them to defend themselves and to defend us. So, you know, my respects to you and your team for that. And shout out to Fontana PD and to the city of Fontana for giving them the resources, you know, the money to be able to have these trainings. So you have a beautiful, beautiful future ahead of you for you and for your team. So I'm excited for your team, your growth. I could already imagine what you guys are going to do. I'm here for you. If you guys need anything from me as far as the coaching, the promoting, teaching you guys any marketing or sales, you know, I'm committed to helping you guys with that. Without anything in return, just because I love what you're doing. So and I got 10X behind me. So if I'm with you, 10X is with you. And so your plans for the future, you know, setting some targets now. How many employees? What's going to be your revenue? What's going to be your net? How many facilities are you going to open? How many partnerships are you going to have for franchising and all that good stuff? So let's talk about where people could find you. We're at AFS in Fontana. He's located right on Cherry and Foothill. How can they find you on social media, and how can people find you in general?
And Instagram is like Aguirre's Fighting System. Actually, MMA.
Aguirre's Fighting System, MMA. We're going to be sure to tag you guys and collaborate with you guys. So I'm sure everybody in the Inland Empire, guys, I'm going to be training here. Me, my family, and my employees. I got my videographer, Javi, right here in the back. We're all going to be training here. So if you guys want to spend some time with me, you'll probably catch me here at this gym. If you guys want to learn from me, I'll be here training. And so will my employees. And we're in Fontana. We got your social media platforms. And they can just call your office if they want to sign up for trainings.
Oh, yes. Yes. We have the, you know, they can email us, they can call, they can, all the ways that you can think, they can
so if they're in the Inland Empire, if you guys want to come in, and the thing is this, look, like we've been saying, if you want to get trained and you want to meet Franklin, you got to do business with Franklin. You got to come here to the facility and you have to do business with him and with his team. And that's how you build these relationships, and that's how you get access to law enforcement friends. That's how you get access to me. If you guys want access to, a lot of people message me all the time that they want to learn from me. I'll be training here. You know what I mean? So if you guys want to do business and you guys want to get into the MMA, you should. You guys should learn this stuff, because everybody on the street knows MMA. You know, you get cut off. You get cut off on the freeway, you get cut off on the road, and somebody starts a fight with you. You don't know how to defend yourself. You're in trouble, my friend.
Oh yes, yes. No, it's for sure. You need that right now. It's a must, because the world is a little bit crazy right now, and you better be prepared for that.
Exactly.
You know?
So, Franklin, thanks again for your time. I really appreciate you. It was a great honor to meet you. My new friend Franklin with AFS in Fontana. I look forward to doing business with you. I look forward to building a strong relationship with you and your team. And everybody else that follows me, if you guys want to take advantage of the opportunity, I'll be here probably during the week signing up, and I'm going to get training as quickly as possible. So thanks again for your time, bro. Yeah. I appreciate you, and God bless.
Hey, God bless. It's very nice to meet you, buddy. It's, I hear about you, and finally we have you here, and this is a great moment. This is a great time. It's good.
Thanks, Franklin. All right, guys. Hey, I'll catch you next time on Mondays with Mike. Make sure you like, subscribe, and most importantly, I need you to comment. What did you take away from this? What did you learn? Are you going to be getting into MMA? Are you going to be getting trained and learning how to defend yourself in 2025? Let's go. Let's get it. I'll see you guys next time.